Ladies, are you tired of settling for less than you deserve when it comes to dating? Well, you're in the right place. Today on The Scarlet Effect, I'm diving deep into the harsh realities of the modern dating landscape. And trust me, the truth might shock you. You see, most women have a very specific idea of their dream man. Tall, successful, good-looking, the whole 9 yards. But what if I told you that finding this so-called high-value partner is actually incredibly rare? In fact, the data shows your chances of landing this unicorn are less than 1%. Ouch, I know. But don't worry, I'm not here to just deliver bad news. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly why your standards might be unrealistic, how men's own selectivity plays a huge role, and the mindset shifts you need to make in order to find true, lasting love. Let's have an honest conversation about finding your ideal partner. Some important points have been raised that I want to dive deeper into, because understanding the realities of the dating landscape is crucial for your long-term happiness and fulfillment. Assessing the likelihood of finding your high-value partner. A detailed analysis was done to determine the likelihood of you finding the type of man you desire. Let's call him the top-tier guy. By inputting your specific criteria around age, height, race, education, income, and physical attributes, the calculation revealed that the chances of you locating this unicorn are less than 1%. Now, I know this might be a tough pill to swallow, but bear with me here. This assessment is based on comprehensive data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the CDC's National Health Surveys. It's not just some random guess. This represents the most accurate representation of the male population in America. So when you're looking at factors like requiring a man to be between 29 to 35 years old, at least 5 feet 9 inches tall, making a minimum of $150,000 per year, and having a specific racial, ethnic background, you're instantly eliminating the vast majority of men out there. Even if we expand the age range to 25 to 40, the height to 5 feet 6 inches and up, and the income to $100,000 plus, we're still talking about a tiny sliver of the overall male population. The reason this is so important to understand is that it sets you up for constant disappointment and frustration in your dating life. If you go into the market expecting to land a guy who checks off every single box on your list, you're going to end up alone more often than not, and that's not a healthy or sustainable way to approach finding a life partner. Recognizing the disconnect between ideal and reality. Many women tend to compare the men they meet to the male role models they grew up with, rather than the actual statistical averages. If your dad and uncles were all making 6-figure salaries, standing well over 6 feet tall, and exuding charisma, it's understandable that you'd want to find a partner who matches or exceeds that standard. However, that's not representative of the typical American man. The average male in this country is around 5 feet 8 inches tall and earns between $35,000 to $50,000 per year. Now, that doesn't mean these men can't be wonderful partners. It just means your expectations may be a bit skewed. It's crucial to have positive male influences in your life to learn what a healthy relationship looks like, but you also have to be realistic about what the dating pool actually consists of. If you continue comparing every guy you meet to the idealized versions you're used to, you'll end up consistently disappointed and potentially miss out on some great opportunities. It's like going to the bank and expecting to get approved for a mortgage when your credit score is in the 500s. It's just not going to happen. Similarly, if your personal credit score in the dating world doesn't match the standards you're trying to hold men to, you're going to have a very difficult time finding that so-called high-value partner. Understanding male standards and selectivity. One of the most insightful things touched on was the fact that men also have their own sets of standards and selectivity when it comes to choosing partners. Just like women, guys have certain physical, financial, and personality traits they look for. And the higher a man's own status and desirability, the more selective he can afford to be. Think about it. If you're an attractive, successful man making 6 figures or more, you're going to have a much wider pool of potential partners to choose from. Compared to an average Joe who's making $40,000 per year, that high-earning alpha male is going to be a hot commodity, and he knows it. So, when you're a woman who's bringing your own baggage to the table, whether it's an unconventional dating history, a less than perfect body type, or a career that doesn't quite match his financial standards, you may find that these top-tier men are simply not that interested. It's not personal, it's just a matter of supply and demand. Now, I know this might sound a bit harsh, but it's important to understand the male psyche here. Guys, especially successful ones, are generally not going to broadcast their true standards out loud. They know that if they're too honest about their preferences, they'll get labeled as shallow or misogynistic. So instead, they'll often tell women what they want to hear in the moment, just to get what they want. Adopting a realistic mindset. Alright, so we've established that the top-tier guy you're dreaming of is incredibly rare, and that men also have their own sets of standards that you need to consider. The question is, how do you approach dating in a way that sets you up for success? The key is to adopt a more realistic mindset. That doesn't mean settling for less than you deserve or compromising on your core values, but it does mean being honest with yourself about what you can reasonably expect to find in the current dating landscape. Start by taking a step back and really evaluating your own dating market value. What are the qualities and attributes you bring to the table? Are you in great physical shape? Do you have a stable, well-paying career? Are you kind, compassionate, and emotionally mature? These are the types of things high-quality men are going to be assessing. And just like those men have standards, you should have standards too. But be discerning about which ones are truly non-negotiable and which ones are more flexible. Maybe the height requirement can be lowered from 6 feet 0 inches to 5 feet 10 inches. Perhaps you can be open to dating outside of your preferred racial, ethnic background. The point is, you want to strike a balance between having high standards and being realistic about what's actually available to you. Holding out for a mythical, perfect partner is only going to result in heartbreak and missed opportunities. Instead, focus on finding a good, high-quality man who meets your core needs and complements your life in a positive way. Avoiding the comparison trap. One of the biggest pitfalls I see women fall into is constantly comparing themselves to other females, especially on social media. It's easy to look at all these seemingly perfect, Instagram-worthy relationships and feel like you're falling short. But I can assure you, those curated images don't tell the whole story. The reality is, there are attractive, successful women everywhere, and many of them are competing for that same pool of high-value men that you're after. So when you find yourself getting sucked into the comparison game, take a step back and remember, you're only seeing the highlight reel. You have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes in those relationships. Instead of wasting your energy envying other women, focus that effort on becoming the best version of yourself. Work on your personal growth, your career, your health and fitness. Build a rich, fulfilling life that isn't dependent on having a man by your side. When you do that, you instantly become more attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. Think about it this way. If you were a successful, high-earning man looking for a partner, who would you be more drawn to? The woman who's constantly insecure and comparing herself to others? Or the one who's confident, secure in herself, and radiates a positive, magnetic energy? The choice is yours. But I can tell you from experience, the latter is going to have a much easier time attracting and keeping that top-tier partner you desire. So stop worrying about what everyone else is doing and start investing in yourself. That's where the real magic happens. In conclusion, look, I know this conversation hasn't been the easiest, but I hope I've been able to provide some valuable perspective and insights. But if you approach it with clear eyes and a realistic mindset, you can absolutely find the lasting, fulfilling partnership you're seeking. The key is to understand the statistical realities of the male population, recognize your own worth and market value, and be discerning about which standards are truly essential versus which ones are just nice-to-haves. When you do that, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities, not just with that elusive, top-tier guy, but with a whole range of high-quality men who can complement your life in meaningful ways. So don't get discouraged, ladies. Keep working on yourself, stay confident in your worth, and be open to unexpected opportunities. The right man for you is out there. You just have to be willing to think outside the box a little. I have faith in you, and I know that with the right mindset, you can absolutely find the love and happiness you deserve. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Your support helps me create more content that dives into the complexities of dating and relationships. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.